Welcome to the Marvelous Moms Club podcast. Discover yourself, break out of mediocrity, and become the mom you've always aspired to be. Here's your host, Kirsten Tyrell.
Hello, Marvelous Moms Club. How are you guys doing today? It is great to be with you, and I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Today, I'm joined by a really awesome and fun guest who I found on Instagram. Her name is Chrystie, and she is a tattooed, margarita-loving, blogging entrepreneur and a mom of 3. And right now, you should probably, while you're listening, just go search her website, livingfornaptime.com, because she is adorable. And the picture she has on her About Me, her tattooed arm is absolutely beautiful. So without further ado, this is Chrystie. Chrystie, tell us about yourself. Talk about the phase of motherhood you're in. How old are your kids? And what's going on?
Sure. Well, first, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It's super fun. I'm in, let's see, what kind of phase of motherhood am I in? I have an 11-year-old, a 9-year-old, and then I have a 2-year-old.
Oh.
So for a long time, I thought I was just going to be a mom of 2. And then that third one surprised me.
Surprise! You're not done diaper changing.
Exactly. But you know what? It's actually been really great. My older 2 love their baby brother in a way that I just wasn't expecting. Mm-hmm. So they just love playing with him. They care for him. I mean, they're so helpful because, you know, after you have 2 children and my youngest was 7 when I got pregnant, I thought, oh my goodness, I have to start this all over again. But they've been so helpful, and it's been great.
Oh, good. That's awesome. So you're kind of in 2 different phases of motherhood. You're still in the baby toddler phase, and you've got some older ones that you're going to be doing like carpool mom craziness.
Yeah, I'm in like the tweens too.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
In the tweens, like my daughter is texting boys.
Oh no.
When did that happen?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in the thick of it for sure.
Oh well, I wish you luck. I'm already a little nervous for those days, but I hear it just gets better and better. So we'll just trust that the teenage years won't be too terrible to you.
Oh my goodness. I mean, and I just pray that I'm not going to get some payback for when I was a teenager.
You will.
Would.
You totally will. We all have to. It's karma. So Chrystie is an amazing blogger. I found her on Instagram, like I said, and what really drew me to her was her bio on there. She said, I have sold 4 blogs and obviously currently has a blog or website right now. So tell us about that. I even told my husband, he was like, how do you sell a blog? And I was well, you just build up a brand and then you let somebody else continue to do the work. So
absolutely.
Is that kind of essentially what it is?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been doing it forever. So I sold my first blog in 2006. So that was a long time ago in internet years. If you think.
It is.
But after I had my first child, we had just moved to Hawaii. My husband at the time was in the Coast Guard. So I was kind of lonely and I was pregnant and I just needed some sort of outlet. And a friend of mine had started a blog and I thought, you know what, if she can do it, I can do it. So I started a celebrity gossip blog because, you know, I don't know, people love that stuff and I did too. So it was called Hot Mama Drama.
I love it.
Right? Hot Mama Drama. And essentially, I just blogged about celebrity gossip all day long.
Wow.
I ran the blog for about a year. I mean, this was back in the day when I was friending people on MySpace to drive traffic to the blog.
Oh my gosh.
So it was like the internet Wild West.
Oh, yeah.
But so, like I said, I ran it for a year. And then I had Sailor, who's my daughter. I had my second child. And I thought, you know, I just can't keep this up anymore. And at the time, my blog was receiving 500,000 page views a month, which was huge. But I didn't know a thing about monetization. I mean, I just didn't know what I was doing back then. Mm-hmm. So even with that amount of page views, I think I was only making less than $1,000 a month. So it was crazy compared to the amount of page views I was having. But I thought, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. So at the time, there was a website called SitePoint, and I think it still exists today. And that's where I sold my blog. I went ahead, you know, you essentially put it up for sale, kind of like an eBay auction, and people bid on it and someone won the auction. And I was so thrilled with how much money I made. I thought, wow, this is a really great business.
Yeah.
And then a year later, this same guy turned around and sold my site for 10 times what he had paid me.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
So I was like, okay, now I really need to figure this out.
Yeah.
And so I just, kind of dove deep into blogging, monetization, affiliate marketing, all of that stuff. And so I then started 2 other sites. I started Hollywood Heartbreaker and Celebrity Starbucks. Now, I should mention all 3 of these, as far as I know, no longer exist. So whoever bought them from me didn't carry them on, until. So I turned those around pretty quickly, and I was like, oh man, I really like this sort of thing.
Yeah.
But then life happened, and we moved from Hawaii back to Maine, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to get sort of quote unquote a real job. Because I want to meet people. I kind of want to be out there. My kids were getting older where I could put them in daycare. And so I did that for a while. And I did that for between 2007 to 2010. And then I got divorced. And then life changed. And I became a single mom. And I thought, you know what? This job that I had, I was commuting to Boston. It was kind of like all consuming. I was networking at night, and I was just not there for my children the way I needed to be.
Yeah.
And so I started a blog on a whim. This newly single mom, I started couponing, and I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. Like, I want to share this with other people. Yeah. And so I started a coupon blog in 2010, and then 2011, TLC came knocking on my door and asked me on extreme couponing.
Oh, cool.
So I was on extreme couponing, and that sort of helped catapult my website and my business. And I ran that blog, which was called Coupon Karma, until January of last year, and then I sold it.
Wow. And I hope you got closer to what that guy sold your first blog for. I hope you realized what you were worth by then.
Yeah, I got more than he had sold my previous blog.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was definitely my biggest sale to date. But it was also, it was a big deal to sell it because I was so I'm so tied to it. You know what I mean? Like, it's who I had been for the last 5 years. I was this couponing blogger. And so after I sold it, I've just I spent 2015 just kind of floating around being like, what's my next big thing? Yeah. So that was a long-winded story. I apologize.
No, I love it.
That's me from 2005 to 2015. So that's
the last 10 years.
Yeah.
That's such a cool journey, though. That's so fascinating to me. It really is. I would have never thought to create a blog and then turn around and sell it, because I would be totally attached too. So I think that's so cool that you're not only doing something awesome, but you're continuing to have progression, and you're looking to the next thing. And I know you said you floated a little bit last year looking, but I think you deserved a little break, because it sounds like you've been working really hard for the last 5 years.
Yes. Thank you for recognizing that. At the end of it, I was a little burnt out. Coupon blogging is very much like, being a breaking news reporter, because if there's a new deal or a new coupon, you want to be the first, right? You want to give that information to your writers first. So I was working crazy hours, writing 20 to 30 blog posts a day. It was all consuming. But I loved it because I loved helping people really affect their financial future. I used to get emails all the time. Chrystie, thank you so much. You've changed my life. My family can now afford to go on this vacation, or we can afford this. And it was really a great feeling.
Yeah. So I want to talk about that too, because a lot of times we feel like running a business, being an entrepreneur, we have to do it and we have to make money off of other people. And granted, you're not making money on your viewers. You're making money on sponsorships and, advertising. Yeah. But you're still, how much more rewarding was the blogging when you were making a little more than $1,000 a month and also helping people? I think the two kind of have to go hand in hand. You don't want to do anything that's just going to run you ragged and make no money. Yeah. But you also want to be out there helping people, which is the whole point of the blog platform.
Right.
And how many people you can reach. And I mean, that I think is the most rewarding.
It really is, because, especially when you start a blog, you never know who you're going to meet. You're never going to know the opportunities that come your way. And there's not a million, but there are a lot of other coupon bloggers, right? Mm-hmm. So I think, how am I going to stand apart from all these coupon bloggers? And the way that you stand apart is really how you connect with your audience and how you help them. Yeah. That's, as much as blogging is for me because I love the outlet, it's really about connecting with other people. It feels really cheesy to say that. It feels very touchy-feely, cheesy, but it really is true. Yeah. And it's funny because I have a blog post on my blog where right before I started Coupon Karma, I got a job offer for my favorite job, like my dream job. There was an agency in Portland an ad agency in Portland that I absolutely always wanted to work for. It was like my dream job. And shortly after I got divorced, they offered me the job. And I was, I kind of like hemmed and hawed, like, oh man, now that I'm a single mom, can I pull this off?
Yeah.
And the truth was, and so I ended up not taking the job, right? Mm-hmm. So I decided not to take the job, but my biggest reason was that it wasn't going to be fulfilling to help multi-million-dollar corporations, manage their Facebook page or do their Twitter account. What I really wanted to do was help these small, like the families, the other moms that were out there, like, having trouble with their finances and needing to find ways to budget. That for me was more fulfilling. And at the time, my blog, was brand new. So I turned down it was an $80,000 a year job to start this blog. You know what I mean? So it was a huge risk, but at the end of the day, I wanted to do something that was more in line with like feeling good and not just a paycheck.
Mm-hmm. That is so, so important. We're learning those lessons right now in our home. Like what's your soul worth? Is the paycheck worth what you're giving up in return? And sometimes you have to be responsible, but it's so admirable that you just went for it because your life could be so different right now. And it could still be awesome. You would still maybe be happy and able to support your kids, but probably nothing near what you're at right now.
Yeah. But, and you know what else it makes you, I remember telling my now husband, Pete, I remember telling him, I have no option for failure now. I have to make this work. I have, I'm a single mom. I have 2 children. Like I have to make this work. There's no failure here. And so that, that sort of helps you like move forward. When
totally.
You have that fire under your butt, then, it may not go that quickly, but I'm thankful for that pressure because it really did help catapult the business.
I want to like fist bump you through the computer right now because you just said, okay, 1, 2, 3, bam. You just said exactly what has been stewing in my head. Totally like, oh my gosh, nailed it. I love it. And I think what I love about that too is it applies, you're doing it for your kids, but doesn't that apply to motherhood too? Like we have to light the fire under our butts because we get one shot at this. There's no do-overs. There's no our kids can forgive us. We can have bad days, but at the end of 18 years or however long it takes them to leave the house, we had one chance. And
that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure. And why not be striving to do it amazing the first time instead of, thinking, oh, it's fine. There's, it's going to be fine. They're going to turn out, every kid's going to be scarred a little bit. Well, yeah, but do your best not to scar your children.
Yes.
So that totally translates over to parenting too. Even though it's totally correlated to begin with, it's such a strong principle to live by.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's made all the difference because, I haven't always, a lot of my self-worth, I'm gonna get real deep down and personal here. A lot
Please
of my self is really wrapped in how successful I am, right? So not all moms are like that. Some moms don't have that sort of like drive to succeed, and their family is really number one. And so for a few years, I was really driven by this success. And then I think after I got divorced, I had to really reevaluate my what my values were. And all of a sudden it's like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? I've spent the last couple of years really chasing this career when I have children at home that need me. You know what I mean? So that was a huge turning point. And like both in my, my professional career, but also in my mentality in terms of parenting my children. Like every decision I make now is, will this be great for the kids? You know what I mean? How will this affect them? Because you're right. We only get one shot, and that is so much pressure.
I love it. Perfectly said once again. You're so eloquent. You're so easy to talk to. I love everything that you're saying right now.
Stop. You're making me blush now.
No, it's true. I hope everybody listening is getting as much out of this as I am because I'm totally like, oh man, yeah, you're on point. So we talked a little bit before we came live on the blog, but okay, so here's Kirsten's mentality, and this has been for a few years. I'm slowly peeling away the layers of my self-doubt and what I'm capable of, and I've tried a few projects. I've tried blogging. I haven't tried very hard, granted. I've done like our family blog. I've done this and that. Doing the podcast is something so different that I have nothing to compare it to in terms of what I've failed at before. But in my head, I think mommy blogging has been done. It's the market's saturated. There's no point in me trying. So can you talk to moms, because you're going to be teaching moms and helping moms to become mom bloggers and speak about their passions and grow their independence and their income from home. So talk to me personally.
Yeah.
Tell me how it works, or why it's not too late for me to become a mommy blogger.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to say is you're not alone in feeling that. Even myself, who has been a blogger for 10 years and has had some successes, still feel the same way. I think, how am I going to stand out, right? Like you said, everything's been done before. I mean, you can find a blog about anything, about any small niche. It's just crazy out there. But what I want to encourage you and other moms to do is realize that your personality is what is going to, your vibe attracts your tribe. Have you ever heard that?
No, but I love it.
Yes.
Who said that?
I don't know who said it, but I saw it once. One of my friends posted it on Instagram once. Your vibe attracts your tribe. And I thought, oh my goodness, yes, yes, yes. Hands in the air, preach it. Like, it's everyone, you're so different, and the way that you communicate and the way you connect with people is just different than anyone else out. That's why you're unique. Everyone is so different. And so even though you're going to be blogging about something that someone else has already blogged about, your unique perspective is just that. It's just yours. And the way that you choose to, bring it out to the world, whether it's visually or through your podcast or whatnot, makes it unique. So I encourage all moms to just push forward. If you've got an idea, go with it. Just go with it and see what happens, right? So that's the beauty about blogging, is there's no huge expense that it costs to start something. You could start it for as little as free, on Blogger or WordPress, or you could start it for, $5, $10, $20 a month. So there's not this like huge, expense that you need to put down in order to figure it out.
Right. I love it. Okay, I believe in it now. I believe I could do this. I mean, I have to have the blog and the website to go along with the podcast. And there's some things that I maybe want to say on there that I'm not saying on the podcast, because I love mostly getting to talk to fabulous people like yourself. And while I started the podcast maybe to be a little bit more me speaking, I'm realizing how much more fun I'm having talking to people. Yeah. So some of my stuff and my thoughts are going to have to come out in blogs, in blog posts. And I think I might know who said that. I think I might know who said your quote. We'll have to look it up after we're done. But I think it might have been, I was searching podcasts and I found Shailene Johnson, and she has one called Build Your Tribe. So maybe that's on there. Maybe that was her.
That could be. Your vibe attracts your tribe. I feel like you've got to get that tattooed on me or something.
There you go. Where would you even do that? Somewhere. It would have to be somewhere people could see it, so they could be like, what are you talking about?
Well, you know what? I have very little space left to show, so I'm pretty covered.
Maybe across your forehead. I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a couple of different questions. So I think another thing that people get hung up on, moms who want to work from home, even me, I'm still figuring out the balance. Yeah. Do you have a secret weapon, or just like a way of balancing it all so that you have time? I mean, you said you're doing 20 to 30 posts a day, but you're still home. Your kids, I think sometimes your kids are more needy when you're home all the time, as opposed to if you got to go to an office, you could get 10 times more things done.
Definitely.
So what have you done? What are your tools? How have you made it happen?
So, more recently, I found this new thing called waking up earlier than my kids, and it's been pretty amazing. So I try and get up at 5:30.
Awesome.
And it just kind of like I have my cup of coffee and I either read or I like get my thoughts ready for the day. You know what I mean? So just that quiet time has really helped me mentally prepare. Other than that, I try and get everything done during school hours, of course. And then if I need to do anything else, I usually wait until they're in bed or, after a certain period of time. But I think that work-life balance is just, it's so tough because for me, it's like kids and work, are right up there. But housework, oh gosh, my housework always is like at the
bottom of the list.
Bottom of the list. And you know what? I feel fortunate that my husband loves to clean because he really does make up for me. Because otherwise it would just be a nightmare. Yeah. But like I said, I don't think there's no secret formula to that work-life balance. You just have to, make time where time is due. And, it's funny because that's the name of my website is Living for Nap Time. It's like, okay, when the kids are napping, let's get some work done. Let's write in our blogs or let's do our social media at that point. But I think it's just finding time where time, is available.
Yeah. Have you read the book by Hal Elrod, Miracle Morning?
No.
Okay, well, that's going to be on your
Add it to my list.
read. It's amazing. I'm going to try and get him on the podcast because that's totally what's transformed my life. I mean, very small changes happened, but when I read that book, it changed everything. So we currently get up at 5 a.m. because our kids are early risers. Okay. So technically we should probably get up at like 4:30 to have enough time.
5?
No, just my husband and I.
I was like, whoa.
No way. Well, my oldest son, he gets up very, very early. He's had a couple years where he gets up around 4:30 in the morning. He's 6 years old and he's finally sleeping past 6 o'clock.
Yay.
I know. Huge, huge accomplishment. So we've had to get up super early just to beat their wake up time. And we don't always get a ton accomplished, but just having that time to focus in on our day and like get ourselves in a good place makes a huge difference.
Yeah. I just found that our mornings were so much smoother. Before it was kind of like everyone's hurrying and rushing. Yeah. And now that I get up and settle my own stuff, I'm able to help the kids more. You know what I mean? Like just in a way, and I have more patience by that time. I've had my coffee, so I'm like, okay.
I'm ready for this. Bring it on.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so that's on your bookshelf from me, but what are you reading? Are you a fiction, nonfiction reader? What's something you're loving?
I am only about business books. I haven't read a fiction book in, I can't even tell you. I didn't even read the 50 Shades of Grey series. I'm just like, nope, I only do things where I can like learn. What am I reading now? I'm reading The Secret Thoughts of Successful Women. Have you heard about this book?
No.
It's about good. It's about the imposter syndrome. Are you familiar with the imposter syndrome?
Yep.
Yes. So essentially, this woman, she wrote a book about, how many successful women feel like a fake or a fraud, even though that they've achieved these great levels of success. And I think that this imposter syndrome is very prevalent amongst creatives, mom bloggers, people in general. Yeah. And so I, from time to time, feel this way. I suffer from it. It's just like, oh, they're going to find me out. I'm a fake, but I'm not. I have, years of success. And so I'm reading this book about, how to sort of overcome that in your own head. It's very interesting.
I love it. So the first time I sat down at the computer, I had done some interviews for the podcast. The first time I sat down to do the first episode where it was just me, I almost had a heart attack. And that was the first time I had imposter syndrome. I just sat here and I didn't cry or anything. I was just like, what have I done? I have nothing to say. I have no PhD in parenting. Why am I here? Who's even going to care? And it was terrifying. I actually recorded it. Maybe someday I will share. I was like, okay, guys, I'm sitting here trying to do an intro and I'm having a panic attack. I don't know what I'm doing. So I totally understand. I need to read that book because I'm sure that that's going to hit again and again.
I mean, we can really be our own worst enemies if you think about it. Just the self-doubt is just always there because we are in an industry where there's no right or wrong answer. You know what I mean? Like we just are putting our stuff out there and yes, we may get positive feedback or negative feedback, but there's no right or wrong. And so it's kind of easy to feel like, am I doing this right? You know what I mean? So yeah, that's something, like I said, even though I've been doing this for 10 years now that I still struggle with and want to overcome.
Perfect. Well, you're so inspiring. I had no idea what I was getting when I contacted you, but you have filled my cup. I'm so ready for the weekend right now. I'm so excited that I got to talk to you. You've brought so many awesome things to the table. Thank you. You guys need to keep track of Chrystie. You can find her right now on her website, like she said, livingfornaptime.com. Find her on Instagram. I love on here, I think you said, I basically live my life on the internet, so you can find me anywhere. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everything. So go to the website and find links to everything. I'll put links in the show notes. Thank you so much for being here, Chrystie. You're a wonderful, amazing, inspiring mom, and I thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Thanks for listening, guys.